After watching this video in full, I know it's going to seem like the title and thumbnail are clickbait, but it isn't really. Renting this was a mistake is an actual thought that ran through my head. I just bought a 2023 Model Y Performance in December 2023, and I absolutely loved it. I love it. So I went on Turo and I rented the Model X Plaid in this video as a Valentine's Day surprise for my wife in February 2024. And as soon as we got it,
I'm telling you, the moment.
As soon as I sat in it, I thought renting this was a mistake. I almost instantly fell in love with the Model X and started to wonder if I messed up by getting the Model Y just 2 months earlier. So in this video, I'm going to talk about how amazing this 2022 Model X Plaid is, and also why I do not regret buying my 2023 Model Y Performance, and how spending well over $1,000 to rent this Model X Plaid on Turo not only almost instantly paid for itself, but it's also going to keep me from making some costly mistakes in the long run. In addition, this is also the only car I've ever rented on Turo, so I'll talk about my experience with Turo as well. And to be clear, I do think renting a car from Turo before you make a purchase is a great idea. Renting a Model X Plaid on Turo is not cheap, but overall, I think it's money well spent, and I'll explain why. But first, let's check out some footage of the Model X Plaid. Alright, here we are in the 2022 Model X Plaid, rented from Turo. Well, Brandon H. It's been a great process so far. We test drove, I own a Model Y Performance 2023. This is a 2022 Model X Plaid. I rented this so my wife could see it because she wants a Model X, and I figured we need to spend some time with it to make sure we're going to spend that kind of money. And I told her it would be either the best Valentine's Day present or the worst Valentine's Day present, because now she's going to want it. It may have backfired on me because now I think I want it.
Idiot.
And now I'm like, why not buy this Y when this X is so much cooler?
I guess you're just fucked.
People, there's all I talk about, you get the Y. I love my Model Y, but just in this vehicle for about 10 minutes, and I totally see why this is a much more expensive vehicle than the Y. Just the tilting screen alone and the extra screen up there, it's very fresh. And then obviously nice stuff like this, and this is all black and it's all grayed out on the Model Y. This is my first time being in a Plaid. I also wondered, will I even notice the difference between the performance, the Model Y Performance and the Model X Plaid? I might know the X has more horsepower, but the Model Y is bonkers fast, and I just didn't know if I would even notice the difference. Bitch, is you dumb? And so far we've only kind of tapped it once, and I would say yes, it's very noticeably different.
Idiot.
See, Plaid, of course, you got the carbon fiber here, which is nice, and of course the screen stretches out. Also, that was another question about whether or not we like the yoke or not, because obviously you can save some money by getting just the Model X non-Plaid with the round steering wheel, so you still get the tax credit. She wanted the yoke, but was the yoke really worth, losing that $7,500 tax credit plus $1,000 for the yoke, so roughly $8,500 so you can have a yoke? But if you want the Plaid, then obviously it's a no-brainer. And of course, this one has the 6-seater because it's Plaid. It looks very nice. It's a very cool vehicular. I mean, just the visibility you get from this massive windshield. I mean, someone on Reddit referred to it as being like in a helicopter. It's crazy. I mean, this is, such a nice experience. So I've said this in a couple times, and I don't want to come off as like braggy or wonky. I'm just trying to put it into perspective. We've had a lot of nice vehicles. We had a Volvo XC60 T6 inscription, and a 2021 UX3M competition. Currently, a 2022 Jeep Grand Cherokee Summit. I had a Cadillac CT6, Cadillac CTS before that, and I had a 2021 Jeep GrandCherokee. Now, of course, I have the Model Y, the 2019 Cadillac XT4. So I'm not saying this is a nice vehicle compared to an okayish vehicle. I think this is a nice vehicle compared to a very nice vehicle. And the fit and finish on the Model X is just, it's no question in my mind. As a brand new, a little bit over a month owner of a Model Y Performance, which is a very nice vehicle, just being here for a couple minutes, I can already tell how much nicer the Model X is. Now, of course, it's a much better value to get the Model Y. You don't care about money. You just want the nicest Tesla you can get. This X has got to be it, right? I haven't been in the Model S Plaid, but this Model X is stellar. And the black is amazing. Like, I got the Model Y with the white seats interior, but this all blacked out interior is pretty stellar as well. The Model Y still has the stalks on the steering wheel. This one does not. She has no problem getting used to it. She's only driven the Model Y for a couple of days of the month when we have it. She drives the Grand Cherokee normally, but we'll be getting rid of Grand Cherokee and getting the Model X like this. Today is February 10th, day before the Super Bowl, and we got the Model Y Performance in December 29th. So, a little over a month with it. Still in the honeymoon phase, still love it. Just paid my Kentucky taxes yesterday on it. And I love the Model Y. I much prefer driving that over the Cadillac or the Grand Cherokee. But this much bigger screen and the fact that you have the dash screen.
Should I get off here?
I didn't know how much noticeable. I mean, I knew it was a bigger screen, but obviously, if you're going from a normal car that has like a 7 or 8 inch screen to a 12-inch screen, that's very noticeable. But the Model Y already has, I believe, a 15-inch screen, and this is, I think, it's 17 inches. I didn't know that 2 inches would make a difference. I know my friend Tony. All my friends are losers. He always talks about 2 more inches would make a huge difference in his life, but I don't know what screen his car has. But I know he just says if he had 2 more inches, it'd be a lot better. His wife would be happier. He would be happy. Oh, Jesus. I was wondering why my wife wasn't reacting to my nonsense joke about Tony, and that's because she was about to break my neck. Oh my God. It is wild.
There's no words for it.
It is, I mean, we've watched the 1,000 Model X Plaid videos, and everyone makes those stupid noises that I just made. But it's just something you gotta experience. Even a regular Tesla. I mean, just a regular Model Y long range. If you're just a traditional car and you drive that, it's gonna blow your mind about how fast it accelerates. And then if you drive a Model Y Performance, I knew she was doing that time.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
That's fucking illegal.
It's fascinating too. I was just riding with my son yesterday, and I was telling him before I bought the Model Y, I was annoyed that this was like a tan color on the Model Y. That should be, nicer cars have it blacked out like this, like the nice black velour or whatever that is, Alcantara. I said with the Model Y, it really doesn't bother me. I thought beforehand it was going to annoy me, and I thought about paying. There's a couple of services that will change it out for you and reupholster it. I thought for sure I was going to do that, and then quite literally yesterday we were driving the Model Y, and I said, this really doesn't bother me at all. And now I'm getting here, and I'm like, this is so much nicer. It's just nuts that they don't offer that on the Performance Model Y. They should. Oh, look, it raises the suspension. That's another thing. This car has air suspension, which the Model Y doesn't. It is a lot smoother than the Model Y Performance. I've made a lot of comments and videos that the Model Y Performance is nowhere near as rough as I was led to believe it was going to be, because I think the 2023 is a smoother car than the previous year's Model Y Performance. But the Model Y Performance that I have, I think is fairly smooth, but this one is, of course, smoother since it has the air suspension.
It's the first time I've done that.
Yeah, her hand slipped off the yoke. These are the 20-inch wheels, I believe. They look pretty good. This one's a little scuffed up. Of course, it's a rental. If I buy my own, I will probably still get the 20s because I think they look pretty good, and it's obviously going to have a better, smoother ride. So there's one thing that people complain about Teslas, about things being on the screen. And for the most part, they don't bother me, but it is annoying when you're first getting used to driving a Tesla and you gotta adjust your settings, like having to adjust your mirrors or your steering wheel or mirrors while driving. That is kind of wonky. The yoke is a bit odd, I will say. Maybe I don't like the yoke. Now, when I drive fast in the Model Y, I do grip it. Normally I just drive with one hand like this and control this button. But if I'm driving fast, I put both hands up top. If I'm really punching it. But I guess you're supposed to drive like this. Oh, I'm in chill mode. Son of a bitch. And of course, you have a different driving modes on the Model X. It has Plaid mode, Sport, and Chill. Obviously, you don't have Plaid mode on a non-Plaid vehicle. I'm not positive what the normal Model X has. I think on Reddit they said it was Insane mode, so I don't know the difference between Insane. I don't know if Insane mode on the normal X is equivalent to Plaid on the X. One thing to note, if you hit it in Sport mode, I don't see any changes here, but if I put it in Chill, it does say Chill up here. Right, so it doesn't say Sport or Plaid, but it will say Chill. Oh, there's Plaid mode there. Oh, I can tell it right away. I wonder if you were in Plaid mode or if you were in Stand. I don't think you were in Plaid mode. Holy shit. I don't think you were in Plaid mode. I think you might have been.
Serious?
I don't know if you were in Chill. Oh, yeah, I mean, this is fucking wow. Wow. I don't think you were in Plaid mode. You might have been in Standard. See, we were just here a minute ago, and there was a cop over here, so I don't want to go too bonkers, but I do want to see what this is like. There's still drag strip mode. This is a 2022, and I have a 2023, and I don't know when he bought it. I bought mine in December, so it probably was built in October or something, right? My cameras seem way better than this one. So, you know, there's a big thing about hardware 3 versus hardware 4. I would safe to assume that my Model Y, 2023 Model Y Performance has hardware 4. And it is noticeable to me that when I use the cameras on here that they're not as good as the ones on my car. Everything else about this car is way nicer than my car, but the cameras, I got that going for me. The steering wheel, not the steering wheel, the windshield is pretty nuts because I brought this up a couple times already. I also seen all the cones on the little screen. Pretty neat. But yeah, just the ability to see everything. You know, there's no top to it, right? So I'm a tall guy, 6'1", and a lot of times at stoplights you have to kind of look to see. Like I gotta kind of crouch under sometimes to look if I pull up too close to the stoplight, and there's no problem with that here. Here's an example of what I'm talking about with the headliners. We're in the Cadillac XT4. Here's the headliner. I'm in the passenger seat, so I'm leaning back. But if I was sitting closer up, you can see how if I'm tall enough, sometimes it could block the stoplight and you gotta lean down and look further. This one's far away, so it's all right. But you can imagine if we were close up and there was a stoplight right there, you can get knocked out by this roof line, whereas that's not a problem on the Model X. Obviously, I'm still in the very beginning, but I would prefer having a turn signal stalk over the button. I don't mind the swiping the screen to drive, you know, versus the driving stalk. So I'm gonna press brake, swipe it into drive, and it tells you which way you're going, and you gotta press gas. And then let's just show going into reverse. That doesn't bother me at all. The yoke will probably grow on me, and I do like the ability to see this full screen unencumbered. That's pretty good. How does it feel for you as a passenger when I punch it?
Scary.
Well, you didn't feel scary when you punched it as a driver?
No.
You think you're a better driver than me?
Yes.
Hell no!
So I do not drive. Look at these little symbols on the steering wheel. On the, see the little.
What does that mean?
It's just saying that it's warning me that shit there that I'm gonna hit.
Alright, because I saw that when I was driving and I didn't know what it was.
Yeah. I do not drive very much. I've had my Model Y for a month, and I think we're still not quite at 1,000 miles. And that was me driving it home from Nashville, so putting 200 to 300 miles on it the first day. And some of those miles were from my bride driving it to her work. She drives every day. She doesn't get to work from home. So she drove the Model Y Performance to school for 2 days, right?
Yes, you wouldn't let me drive it more than that.
That's right. And then you went back to driving a 2022 Jeep Grand Cherokee, which is, you know, a $71,000 car when we bought it with a V8 Hemi. What was your experience going back to a Jeep Grand Cherokee after driving a Model Y Performance for 2 days?
Well, I did like the massaging seats in my Jeep. I missed that in the Tesla, but as far as the acceleration, there's no comparison. I felt like I was too slow because you did that on purpose. You asshole. You did that on purpose. I don't even want to talk to you anymore.
What was your saying?
Something about, because I have to merge a lot and there's heavy traffic. So when I punch it in the Jeep, it takes longer for me to feel that I can safely get around somebody. But when I was in the Tesla, I wasn't worried at all because I knew I could haul ass around everybody.
The Tesla's pretty great about knowing when to turn the signal off, but if you did it incorrectly, just be able to tap the button. So maybe I will get used to these little no stalk turn signals. You want to go home or you want to eat?
Where would we eat if we were going to eat?
I don't know. That's what you want.
I know you're slowing down.
I'm
Bracing myself.
You all can't see it, but she is there. Her legs are fully extended to brace her body for what may or may not happen.
It's gonna Fuck you. Oh, that scared me.
It jars the shit out of this. Like when you hit that, like, yeah, I don't think you were in Plaid. I think you might have been in sport mode.
Pull over at the park and let me drive the rest of the way home so I can see if I was in Plaid or not.
Yeah.
Because it was still crazy.
Well, I mean, it has more power than, oh, there's a police.
That's the sound of the police!
When I drive the Model Y Performance, I feel like I don't miss having the screen in front of my eyesight. It's no problem to look over here, but now that I have it, it's much nicer to have it right here in front of you, obviously.
Obviously.
My wife was driving it, but previously she's only driven the Model Y, which didn't have a Plaid mode. So she was driving it, and we didn't know what setting it was set to. Yeah, she was in Sport, not Plaid the whole time.
I'm a little scared because it was incredibly powerful in the Sport mode. So when I was trying to put it in drive the first time, when we left our house, I kept going this way because when you do a gear shift, you go down for...
It would take a little bit to get to that, I think.
Okay.
Same thing with the stalk on the Model Y. You pull down to go forward and push it up to go backwards.
But it's just logical. You're going forward, so you push it forward. You're going in reverse, so you push down. It's kind of a blind spot here for me.
Yeah, so she says there the A-pillar is kind of a blind spot. This is a good example. My wife noted this at first, and while you do have extraordinary visibility from the windshield, up and all around, and just in general, the visibility on the Model X is pretty great, but it is an exceptionally large A-pillar here. So you can kind of see how much of that, I'm trying to hold this to where my face would be. So you can kind of see like how much it would block. I mean, you can still see your mirror here and you can still see out front, but there is a large kind of blocked area. Now, of course, you have the front screen that will tell you what's near you and whatnot. And then obviously you can just move your head a little bit and see around. It could be, depending how tall you are or how you sit in the seat, this could be problematic for you. My wife is obviously much shorter than me. It's not problematic. She's driven it to work every day with no problems. It's certainly noticeable and something to be aware of that A-pillar can be quite large, certainly depending on your seating position. So I'm not driving, of course, but here's the Model Y A-pillar, and it's not as, obviously any A-pillar is going to show some visibility block, and we can tell it's just not as big as the one on the Model X. And so if I hold, like here's my normal driving position, of course you can still see it doesn't block too much. And again, the X is not, it wasn't problematic for me, but once my wife brought it up, I didn't notice it to seem a little obtrusive. Sounds like she can't have this car.
I may not want it after I try it in Plaid if it scares me.
Well,
made me scream when you did it. You're hoping I don't like it.
That's right. Save me some money.
So do you think the Plaid in Sport mode is comparable just to the regular?
No, it's still, the X, yeah, I would think so.
See, it kept making those circles the first time I drove. And I knew I wasn't close to anything, so I didn't know what it was.
There are two other Tesla YouTubers here, at least, I think. I'm not a Tesla YouTuber, but Andy Sly and I forget his name. There's two J's. He has red hair and he has Model 3 performance.
I know how to make the temperature go up and down, but like there's air blowing in my face right now. If I didn't like that, what do I do?
Oh yeah, because there's no steering wheel. The air blows more in your face.
Yeah,
you can split it, make it go away. So there's a little vent right here on the Model Y. Of course, the vent goes all the way across, but on the Model X, I assume this is it where the little hole is. There's no top to the steering wheel, so it can, as my wife was saying, it kind of blows right in your face. I don't really notice it. If you wanted to adjust it, of course, you can split it out. If you put it right there, of course, we have the heat on, not the cool air, so it's a little different, I guess. But yeah, there's air coming out here a little bit. But yeah, I didn't notice it, but she, of course, sits closer to the steering wheel than I do, so just be aware that could be something to bother you. It didn't bother me, but she found it to be noticeable. And of course, you could always turn it off by hitting this to get rid of it, or this to have it on, and just this, right? And that's how you would split it, right? So it's kind of neat. And then you turn it on to adjust this myself. And again, it's nice that it has, this is the Model X. You can tell that design, the yoke, and the big screen, and whatnot. So it's pretty cool.
Gosh, it's only 35, and I didn't realize. You don't realize how quickly.
Yeah,
you're
well,
going too fast.
A Tesla problem is that since it goes so smooth, you can get up in speed quite quickly, of course, and then you also don't realize it doesn't feel like you're going that fast.
Okay, I was not in Plaid earlier.
It's noticeable.
I love it. There's just no words for it. It doesn't seem possible.
Yeah.
It's like you're in a rocket.
It doesn't. It's fucking crazy. Here is a random factoid. I don't know if it could be me, could be car, I don't know. But I was in very easy entry mode. I can change it to, I created mic in X. I already have a Tesla Model Y performance, of course, so I have my own account to log into, but it didn't carry over here. My phone worked just fine. And then I don't know why, if we go to driver profile settings, lures my wife's account and shows her email. This is Brandon. He is the owner of the vehicle, and it shows his profile's name, but mine doesn't show the email, and neither does Casey, so I don't know why that is. This is not the same driver profile. It didn't seem to carry over my profile from the Model Y, because the Model Y is just Mike. And then when my wife logged in, it immediately pulled over her alert profile from the Tesla Model Y to here, but myself, it didn't pull over correctly. I had to create a new profile here. I don't know why that is. This is an odd difference between the Model X and the Y. Not really odd per se, but this little rollerball on the Model Y does the voice prompt or adjust the speed for the distance between car links and the cruise control options. On here, the voice prompt, the ball just does nothing here other than unless you're driving, and when you're driving, it sets your cruise control. But you get to hit this button for the voice prompt, and I find I hit that a lot on this yoke, whereas I almost never accidentally hit this button on the Model Y. And this little button right here, well, I'm not driving, so I don't know. Well, I don't think it does anything. Oh, here's an odd one. I find that since the screen, the windshield is so gigantic, it does feel odd that these wipers are too small, right? If I hold them down, it sprays, and it doesn't seem like it goes high enough. I mean, my visibility's here, so it is fine. I can see just fine, but it just seems weird that it's gonna be clean here and then dirty up above it. Again, it's perfectly fine for visibility purposes. It just looks odd. Also, your wiper controls come up here, whereas on the Model Y, when you hit the stalk, it pops up on the screen, of course, since you don't have a center screen. Same thing with the volume of the music. You see the volume controls is right over here. And I mean, that does make sense because you're driving looking forward, but I'm just used to driving the Model Y at this point, and the volume controls show up over here. So I turn the volume up and I'm looking over here and it's not there, and then I realize it's on this side of the screen, which does make sense, I guess. So another difference, of course, is the way these are laid out on the Model X versus the Model Y. I do like the carbon fiber, which is available on the Plaid version, of course, but it's not on the Model Y Performance, which I think it should be. So you can cover this all up. So now you just have your wireless phone charger here, and then you have a nice covered up area here. But then if you want to open it to here, now you have your cup holders, or you can push it all the way up, and now you have this little storage area, and then you can push this up to get a larger storage area, and then push your cups out of the way to get full level access to that whole area there, right? Whereas on the Model Y, the cup holders are always available, and then you have a little hole here. So I don't mind the fact that you can hide your cup holders, and I don't mind the fact that you can cover your cup holders up as well. I think that does look kind of clean, because a lot of times I don't have a beverage in here. But what I don't like is when you get to here, it just looks like something's not right here. Like, why is there this little weird gap here? It just doesn't seem to make sense to me. All right, so here is the Model Y. So you can see it's kind of gray-ish looking. The cup holders are very large. Like this water bottle's 33 ounces, and it fits, and they're just fine. But like a normal bottle of water or soda pop or coffee cup will rattle around in there. This one has the slide up. It's just a little charging cable I have in there, and then you can see there's two USB-C ports right there. Those little guys are. The wireless charger works excellent. I made a video about that already. Another difference, of course, on the Model Y is that we have this, and mine has clips here still. Like some of them still, the newer ones I think are magnets.
Fucking magnets. How do they work?
Yeah, the windshield is pretty amazing, and it goes into the very cool black ceiling in here, and just the black overall in the car looks pretty good. And then even just seeing the doors open from the inside is pretty neat. This could change, of course, per year model vehicle, right? But on this Model X, 2022 Model X, it's just like a flat spot, like a passive touch in a sense. I think on my Model Y 2023 it's more of a button, but this is more just like a flat setting, which is nice. And if you roll the window down, it'll show the window going down on the screen there too, which is pretty neat. Obviously, since it's the powered door, you can also, instead of pushing the door closed, right, you can just tap that button again. Yeah, dodge it. It'll close like that. So one thing about the Model X that is noticed by every time I show it to someone, like I have no problem hitting the front door, but the front door, all this part is the way to enter the door, but you got to push right there to open it. And this one opens up all the way for you. Some other ones don't. And of course, you can just push this button again to close it, which is nice. So I have no problem hitting that one. But the rear, this whole thing looks like a button, but really you got to push it here. Like if you push here, it doesn't work. Push here, luckily it does work there. Yeah, see, it's just wonky about where it works and where it doesn't. On the doors on the Model Y, of course, you got to put your thumb in and press it. I'm used to it now. I do have to show it to a couple people. On the Model X here, obviously you push in, but not here. It's more closer to here, or in the center at least. And I don't have a problem hitting it, but A couple of people I've had get in here, I've had problems with it. And same thing with this door. You got to kind of search around to find the right spot. It's not super clear. Certainly none of my passengers so far. All right, so here is the back seat of the Model X Plaid, the 2 seats in the very back. There you go, see Model X. So these are the very rear seats. I'm 6'1", 250, so I'm not getting back there. I don't get in any back seats. I'll drive my own car if I ride the back seat. And also, personally, highly unlikely I might have anyone in that back seat. But just for reference purposes, we'll have my son try to get in there. He's what? He's pretty fat. 5'7.5". What's your weight? 140, but it looks like all fat. But so 5'7", 140. I think he'll fit in there all right. You got headroom there, right? Plenty of headroom. Is that still comfortable or not for your legs?
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it back all the way. That's no longer comfortable. Okay. Then let me just see if I can sit back here. I mean, I can technically fit back here with him behind me, but my knee is touching this front seat. Are you comfortable? Can you ride him back there like that?
Like this?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, so he would put his feet in the middle here, which is fine. I would not want to ride very long in the car with my knees touching the front here. But let me see if that's my driver's seat or not. That could be the easy. Yeah, that's the easy entry. So let me put it on my seat. All right, so now it is in my seating position. Mike and X. No, I would not. See, I couldn't ride behind myself at all. And he's no longer comfortable in the back. So it's not really a seating arrangement for large human beings, I don't think. This is why I don't like that the Plaid only comes in a 6-seat arrangement. All right, without him in there, I'll see if I could sit comfortably in the back seat. I don't think I can. Him gone, my knees are still touching, like uncomfortably touching the seat in front of me. So I would not ride in this back seat for anything. Right, with me driving. Now, my wife is smaller than me. If she was driving, I could potentially sit back here. But of course, my wife's driving. I'm not going to sit in the back seat and be in the front seat. Both the front seats I find very comfortable. Good driving position for a large human being like myself. I drove my brother around yesterday. He's a very large human being as well, like me, but he doesn't have big giant muscles like me. He's nowhere near as muscular and strong. And he sat in the passenger seat just fine. So for big fellas, it's a good driving vehicle, not a good passenger or back seat riding position. All right, here we are, still driving in the Model X. I ran it off a Turo for 4 days. I'm just enjoying traveling in it and experiencing the differences between this and the Model Y that I own. Again, as a reminder, I bought a 2023 Model Y Performance in December 29, 2023, and it's now February 2024. This old Grand Cherokee, I had one like that before. I bought a used one like that, and by the time I got home, it was smoking and dripping fluids, and I took it right back. So this is a rental from Turo, and the handle of the yoke is a little torn up here. It only has 37,000 miles, so seems like a lot of wear and tear. But I have a couple theories. One, obviously, it's a rental, so people don't take care of it as nice as they would their own vehicle. The owner from Turo probably is not in a hurry to replace it because he's just worried about getting torn up again by the next heathen that rents it. And I don't want to disparage, besmirch old Brandon, the owner of this car, but there was a lot of like, I don't know what, maybe Armor All or something wiped on, looked like it was slick on the hands and the floorboards. That may not be good for the vegan leather. I don't know. So I don't know if that's what caused it or not. So I don't know. It is worn off there. But I mean, he put like a lot of that stuff. It's like my hands felt slimy and gross after driving for a while.
You don't deserve it. You should do better.
I don't think that's good for the material. Now, I feel like I read on Reddit somewhere that it's not supposed to use that kind of stuff. But again, I don't know for sure. I'm just making up stuff at this point. But I just want to talk a little bit about the driving mechanics of getting used to the yoke. I do like the yoke. I like being able to see this, of course. And I will say that, everyone says, oh, I like to turn the wheel like this, right? And then I do too. And I will say that you could just do it like this, which is how I turn it. You see, my hand just slipped off right there. That was funny. If you're driving like this with your hands to the sides, it's perfectly fine. And of course, when you turn, you're not doing a whole bunch of 360 turns, right, all the time. You're mainly just kind of doing this slight veering action. So it is fine. And it really, if you do the hand over hand when you turn, it's also perfectly fine.
And
Yes.
Now, getting used to having the screen in front of you and the screen on the side. Like I said, I've been driving the Model Y for a little over a month, and I still find myself looking at the screen all the time. So that's how much I've gotten used to driving the Model Y with the screen here with my first Tesla. And I went from traditional cars to have just the center screen, and I'm so used to, like right now, I'm just using one hand. That's perfectly fine. So I was holding it and not trying to just swivel it. So I'm so used to the Model Y already that I still find myself looking at this screen, even though I have this screen right in front of myself. And even though the Model X that I'm driving is larger than the Model Y, it doesn't really feel behind the wheel, or behind the yoke, I should say. It doesn't feel like it's that much bigger of a vehicle. Like, my wife has a 2022 Jeep Grand Cherokee Summit. That thing feels like a boat. And so every time I'm driving it, I notice the size of it. I mean, I'm an excellent driver. I just drive. I've driven semi-trucks and dump trucks and anything you name I can drive. Still noticeable when you're in a larger vehicle, right? And parking and whatnot. Whereas this one I don't. Even though they're about the same, comparable physically sized, the Grand Cherokee and this Model X, for some reason it doesn't feel like it takes up as much road or parking. It doesn't feel problematic. What is problematic is I ate a whole bunch of breakfast, late brunch, pancakes. It feels like I got a lead ball with my stuff. Biscuits and gravy, pancakes, hash browns, donuts. Not real donuts, like little ball donuts. So yeah, this is a used car, as I've mentioned numerous times, 2022 with 37,000 miles on it. It does feel looser than my Model Y Performance that has less than 1,000 miles on it, right? There's a little creaks and cracks here, but again, this is also the Plaid version, and it's a rental car, so I'm sure anyone that gets it is just mashing it to hit that 1,020 horsepower, crazy acceleration takeoff, and that's going to be rough on the vehicle, just doing that every time someone gets in the car. Here I am on the, small little curvy roads, and I don't feel bad. I mean, I'm not going to go 1,000 horsepower on this little road, but it feels perfectly fine driving on it. I don't feel nervous or anything like that. Again, I am an excellent driver, calm, cool, and collected at all times.
Cool, cause I don't get upset.
He's got that wide lane.
I just crashed my Tesla, yeah.
A little over 24 hours rental at this point, but it doesn't get remotely old mashing that pedal and taking off and startling the hell out of the passenger. So far, my wife and I drove it first, of course, and then my son and I have been here a bunch, and then yesterday I showed it to my brother-in-law, father-in-law, and brother, and the wing doors don't get old at all at this point. I mean, I've seen videos where people that own it say it gets old, or at least one guy that owns it say it gets old. For me, again, only 24 hours, but I feel like turning them on every time I walk up to it, especially seeing someone's reaction. If you're a fan of Tesla products and you've been watching videos and looking at stuff, you probably have seen that that's an option. But if you by chance find someone that is not aware of such a thing, to see their genuine reaction for the first time, the owner of this car has named it Spaceship, and that's what it feels like when people look. There's a shock on people's faces when they see that for the first time ever, if it didn't know it was possible. It's just wild. If you want to get the reaction right, if you just mash it, it's really jerky to take off like that. But if you just ease into the speed, it accelerates fast as hell still, but there's not that initial jerk from going 0 to 1,000 horsepower or whatever it is, right? Now, obviously, if you want to get the best reactions from people, you just mash it and it throws everyone back into the seat. And if you ease into it and then accelerate heavy, it doesn't do the jerking part in the beginning, and then it really still gives you that roller coaster ride effect. Our city has a lot of cool stuff. These parklands, we used to come out here and ride bikes, and then I got too fat and I was like, I'm not riding those stupid things. I think I mentioned this in the Model Y video, that driving around in an electric vehicle is nice because you're not polluting the beautiful park.
So many trees, man.
I cannot mention enough how much this Model X, how cool it is for this big windshield. It's just amazing. I watch these other car guys, and they always have a wide open space for themselves. Where the hell they go? Jeeps is always at the top of a parking lot, and no one's there. A parking structure. Just always. Even Andy Sly, he's downtown Louisville, which is always jam-packed, and somehow he's just driving and there's no one around him. So my son's wearing a green sweatshirt to give you, I don't know how color is going to work here, but the black of the Model X looks good.
Actual fact, you need to be black.
I have the white seats on my Model Y, and an area where that's super noticeable is down here. The black of the wireless charger seems much darker than the Model Y. I haven't been in the Model Y in a week at this point, but I think it's gray. Obviously the lighting's weird here because the sun's in here, but it's definitely a darker black.
Black to the chromosome, black to the bone.
Than whatever's on the Model Y. And of course the dash is all black, which is cool. You got your little dick vein in the middle of the steering wheel here, which is fucking weird.
Now what the fuck is that?
But all of them have it, I don't know why. Seems like they could fix that. Maybe it's fixed on the newer ones where the horn is in here. Oh, it is weird looking. Again, this yoke on this rental has seen better days. It's peeling here, and then even up here some, and I think a little bit up here as well. And when you pull up Spotify, you get this little sidebar that the Model Y doesn't have, right? Because the Model Y doesn't have this screen, so it's all smushed into one screen here. And so it's a little different, right? if I pull up Spotify as a whole, you can still see the map on here, whereas on the Model Y, when you pull up Spotify, it's just blocked. I've hit this horn numerous times. That's going to be fixed on the newer S and X or anything with this no stock one. The horn's back in the middle, I believe, but I've hit this stupid horn so many times. Same thing with this microphone, and I've hit the incorrect turn signal a bunch of times. So the turn signals are staying. That's not going to change. There are going to be physical buttons, I think, a little detent and not just the tap buttons. But this is the Model 3 steering wheel. I like it a lot. I just drove a Model X with a yoke, and I didn't like it. But dude, all the lights are, everything's a actual physical. This is not a physical button. That's just telling you the same thing with this one. It's not a button. This is a button. It depresses and pulls up your cameras. Okay, so I like that. Because I used to accidentally hit the horn on the yoke a lot. And the more I drive it, the more I think I don't want a yoke. I think I would want a steering wheel as a whole. I've said a couple of times throughout my driving of this vehicle that I didn't mind the yoke and I liked being able to see the screen here, but I'm pretty sure if I buy one, now my wife buys one or I buy one for my wife, it will most likely have a yoke. But if I buy myself a Model X or a Model S for myself, I'd get the steering wheel. I have had my hand slip off a few times. Again, I've said before, I think that maybe there's the cleaning material that's been used on here, but either way, it's just I phantom grab up here a bunch, and I just think that I would rather have a normal round steering wheel. Not getting a very fast charging rate, even though I'm at a 250 watt charger, and I'm the only person here. That's okay! So here, looking at the Model X, you can see a little bit different air suspension, premium, full self-driving, of course. Heat pump has an AMD Ryzen infotainment system. Compare that to the Model Y that I have. There's the additional vehicle information of the Model Y Performance. You can see the audio system is premium. Autopilot full self-driving computer. I don't pay for full self-driving, so I guess that just means it's capable of that. CCS and third-party NACS DC charging is enabled. Cabin heater, heat pump, garage door opener not installed. Infotainment system is AMD Ryzen. Low voltage battery, lithium ion. Modem capabilities 2G, 3G, 4G. Front induction, rear permanent magnet. It didn't really clarify what the AMD Ryzen is. Like, is that the same that's in the Model X that I drove? I don't know. That's all the details we get. This is the 2022 Model X Plaid. Now let's check out how Spotify works on here. So obviously I'm parked and charging, so it's a little screen will look a little different depending on what you're doing. But the audio is, the little side piece here is on this side, whereas on the Model Y it's generally over here. Now that could change, of course, with the software update as well. And as I mentioned, probably in a different part of another video, I never see, when I'm driving, the yoke is right here, and you see it blocks the screen. So I don't see the car, controls icon or this little navigation icon, or, tap here to get your charges and stuff like that. That's completely blocked by the yoke, no matter if I have the screen. Right now I have it tilted towards me. Even if I changed it to tilt center from my standard driving position, I generally don't see, like here I am, where I don't know if that's, but yeah, I don't see this area over here very well while driving. Now, I've had a Tesla for a month and a half now, so I know to hit here pretty easily. The music being over here I do like. Now, of course, if you didn't care about your music, you could move this to the center of the screen, and then, of course, those controls are right here. So I didn't know it could do that. That's pretty cool. That's, obviously going to be Model X specific. I don't believe the Model Y has it. I'll double check, but I don't believe that is on the Model Y. All right, here's something that I did not know about the Tesla Model X or I guess Model S should be the same, that you can't really change this screen, at least as far as I can tell. It's not a touch screen, right? Anything you touch is not going to do anything. This is charging, so obviously, but even I've tried it when you're not charging, and you can't change it anywhere. And as far as I can tell, I would assume if there was an option to change it here, it would be under display, but I don't see any option here to change it. This is where I would assume the settings would be, and I don't see anything to change it. Well, this little screen is super cool. It is a little disappointing. I thought that the song you're listening to would show up, but I have Spotify. I'm not playing it now, of course, because I'm talking, but I've had this car for a couple of days now, and I've never seen album art show up here. So I thought for sure I'd seen and maybe that changes with software updates, but I thought for sure I saw album art playing on one side and your speed and whatever on the other sides. But at this point, I've yet to see any kind of album art playing on the screen here. All right, so the stereo is fantastic in the Model X Plaid, right? So I don't think it's going to come across well in, obviously on YouTube. And I'll play a couple tracks and see. I doubt, it's obviously not going to come across. Just take my word for it. I've had a lot of high-end quality audio systems. I had the Cadillac CT6 with the Bose Panarray system that I added 212s to. So I am, base head. I built my own NVX system in a Jeep Wrangler, and I sound dampened everything. It was great. And I've had, Grand Cherokees, and I've had BMWs. It's just, we've had a lot of great audio systems, and that Jeep I had sounded great. I had worked a lot on that. But as far as like just factory systems, there's nothing beating this that I've heard at this point. Play a little Ghost Trip. And when you turn the volume up, it's over here, of course. So 8 is about as high as I go. Yeah, it just sounds great. So it's not just the bass sounds good. The bass does sound good. I could even go over a little more bass, but again, I like my bass.
Bass.
But just the clarity of it, even if it gets loud, there's almost no distortion whatsoever. I think sometimes the music's so loud and so strong, it will make the car rattle a little bit, or some things vibrate sometimes, but not very much. Like I had a Grand Cherokee that really rattled and the Chrysler 300 that rattled so bad I had to take them back to the dealer to get it worked on. You can, of course, change the sound like this. It's a nice touch. It's just a high quality system. Again, the Model Y sounds fantastic. This is the Model X Plaid that I'm driving, and it sounds better. Everyone says the Cybertruck is next level good, so I don't foresee me getting a Cybertruck, but I could imagine getting a Model S. And the Model S, I believe, has the same sound system as the Model X. Obviously a smaller cabin, so I would bet the Model S system sounds probably better than the Model X. And so far, in my listening, the Model X sounds better than the Model Y. Although I'm very, very happy with my Model Y sound system. It's fantastic. And the sound system is very important to me. So I've never bought a car where I didn't stop and check the sound system. I used to take CDs with me, and now I take obviously my phone with me, but I test the stereo out thoroughly before I use it. Even not just the quality of the audio, but the how easy the infotainment system is to use. Now we're using Android Auto for most things, but in the past, obviously infotainment systems were a big pain pre-Android Auto and CarPlay, and now I believe Android Automotive and things like this Tesla integration system will replace Android Auto and CarPlay. Obviously, with these seats up, you don't get a lot of grocery room, but you can lay the seats down, of course. You can get another seat, but again, then there's no divider and things could fall over. So things see in the Model Y, there's way more space. I still have all this right in those little holes there. It's pretty great. So even a much smaller vehicle like the Cadillac XC4, you end up having, you have this little guy here. You end up having more space for your groceries than you do in the Model X. One note about the cooled seats, I think they are pretty good in the Model X. Right? You can get them there or there. Obviously it's not much to show you on camera about how they come out, but it is cool, as they say, right? Like it is nice. And I've had cool seats on a lot of cars, going all the way back to my Cadillac, or CTS 2011 Cadillac, and then almost every car except my Jeep. Pretty much every car I've had except the Jeep Wrangler has had cooled seats since then, because I do love cooled seats. Some cars have better cooled seats than others. I would rank the Tesla Model X as pretty good. Maybe not the best, but certainly far from the worst. I find the seats to be very comfortable as well, but the cooling of the seats for me ranks pretty good. So cooled seats pretty good. Heated seats, of course, very good. And the heated seats, the Model Y I have is just heated, not cooled, but the seats are very comfortable. The Model Y is newer than this Model X, so to me those seats are more comfortable. That's probably because they're newer and haven't had so many people in them. So I've mentioned it before, but you don't get tired of this top windshield, right? It's just incredible, especially driving at nighttime or even when the sun's out. Like here I am pulling up to a stoplight, of course, and it just keeps going, and it's just pretty stellar. You gotta set these back up, which is kind of annoying. And then I never use the back screen, and then there's a button here to close it. You can either hit this button here or this button. There's a dirty Plaid logo. That's a Model X there. I don't know if that can be seen. So I was just using the Grand Cherokee to take some stuff away, so you can see the speakers back there. So that's why all those plastic mats in here. But I see a lot of complaints that the Tesla Model X is not auto raising seats, but now this is only the 5-seater, but that's how you put them down here. It's all manual, right? And to put them back up, you there's no button back here, right? On either side, there's a DC and there's a button to raise and lower the back there, but nothing to raise these seats up. It's all manual, and it's kind of aggressive, right? See, to hit my front seat. So yeah, the Tesla, I agree, at this price range, things should be automatic, but this is a nice vehicle, an expensive vehicle, and it does not have it either. It's all manual. So these are the official Tesla floor mats, and obviously it's a rental, so they're kind of beat down, but I do think they look pretty good. I've already bought mine, of course, so it doesn't really matter. I haven't installed mine yet, and this helps reaffirm that I do like the look of these, and I'm glad I bought them. It does seem odd that on the driver's side, it doesn't cover up the dead pedal there. I don't know if it does in the Model Y, which I have. I'll find out, of course, but in the Model X, it's just all carpet dead pedal there, and not this guy running up to cover it, which is weird to me. So here are the driver mats. After I had them for a while, they're getting dirty, of course. I may have made this comment somewhere else, but it does seem like the dead pedal should go up higher. Like I said, my foot's size 13, so
I'm in 13s, know what I mean?
when I'm in there, you can see I could be getting that carpet dirty there. And it did settle in pretty good on the sides there. There's still a little bit of a gap here, and then pretty much nobody's in the back seat, so they still look good. The back seat fits pretty good. And the passenger side, the boy's wearing size 11 and a half.
Baby shoes, because he's got tiny little feet.
You can see his feet stick up a little bit there, so they should also be longer, because I wear size 13, so I was over there, my feet would definitely be in the carpet. But I mean, I still like the way they look. Dirty, but it says Tesla right here. I'm still glad I got them. Again, I paid for them my own money, but I do like them. I think they look good. Here you can see that when you have the 6-seater, there is no armrest. There's no arm on the inside part, right? On the door, of course, there's a little armrest, but there's no armrest in the middle there. And you can see my charging is a battery temperature is low, so it's going to be charging slower. And I'm charging 88%. This is the rental, so that's what he has set to. I did navigate through the Tesla system to here, but it was, I guess, not long enough trip to warm the battery up to a proper temperature, and it is cold outside, right? It's 34 degrees according to this. And this time it says next time navigate to supercharger. I did navigate supercharger, so it just doesn't I guess it wasn't long enough trip to warm it up enough on how cold it is. My Tesla Model Y is new, and I got 6 months charging. That was a deal they offered. Sometimes if you use someone's referral link, you can get that. You should use my referral link if you're going to buy a Tesla, so you can get some kind of discount or free points, or hopefully free charging. Because 32 cents a kilowatt hour, it's only $3 so far, but I still got a lot to go, so I'm only at 52%. So it could wind up being kind of costly. Here, I'm used to charging for free in the Model Y, at least for the next 6 months, and then I'm building a garage and I'll be charging at home, which will be substantially cheaper. So just dropped off the Model X at the drop-off location, came home, got the Model Y for the first time in a week, and now I'm driving it to go get a charge. I feel noticeably lower to the ground. Visibility is probably better because of the A-pillar is not as wonky, but it is noticeably lower to the ground. My seats are much more comfortable. I don't know if that's because it's a rental or not, but I definitely noticed that. The screen feels wonky because it's centered, and obviously the X had an angle to it. So nice to be back to stocks. I don't mind the pushing up to drive, but turn signal stocks, yeah, I mean, I don't know I can get used to those buttons. I mean, I guess you do, but the stocks are way better. There's no question. As soon as I got back in there, I was like, oh yeah, that's way better. Same thing with the round steering wheel. Like, every once in a while I find I could like that yoke, but as soon as I get back to the round steering wheel, I'm like, oh yeah, this makes way more sense. There's no reason to have the yoke. The screen looks small, which is funny because it's a big screen, but being used to the 17-inch screen, get back in here, this screen feels small. The seat's comfortable. Car still smells like a new car, of course, so it's quieter. It's less creaks and pops than the Plaid, which is a rental and 2 years old at this point. So back in the Model Y, still on my way to charge after just dropping off the X. Couple more thoughts. I hold my hand like this on the steering wheel, I noticed. I never really thought about it before, but this is kind of how I'm holding my hand. And that makes it really easy to hit this little nub, whereas on the Model Y X with the yoke, I always missed this a couple times. That's probably mostly why, is that I don't have this extra finger grip up here. I find myself watching this screen more with the car in the Y. Like, I almost never noticed it in the X, even though the X is right in front of me, so I don't know why. Maybe that's because the speed limit and current speed and speedometer is all there, right? But I don't know. Also, this screen is more crisp and clear than the front screen on the Model X. So this screen, I mean, probably, I don't know if it's any better than the Model X screen. I mean, it feels like it is. Maybe because it's smaller, it'll be sharper, but I don't know. Certainly the numbers and stuff look crisper to me here. Oh, the volume. when you turn the volume up, there's no numbers. It's just a line. I never even paid attention before. But on the Model X, there are numbers. So you know you're at volume 8 or 9 or whatever, right? It's quieter in here. The Model Y is a lot quieter to ride in the cabin than the Model X. That could be because it's a smaller vehicle, could be because it's a newer vehicle. I don't know, but it just seems like there's a lot more noise on the Model. Driving the Model X seemed a lot noisier. And again, it's a rental and it had a couple rattles here and there, so that could be different. But for me, the Model X certainly was noisier, not as quiet as this cabin is. And again, I do feel like I'm driving a car at this point. It feels like I'm on the ground, which is weird because I don't think the X didn't feel like I was riding up super high, but if you get into them back to back, it's noticeable that one is higher than the other. So the stereo sounds great in here. Like, I don't know. I mean, I always thought it sounded great, but then when I was in the X, I was thinking the X sounded way better. And the X is has more speakers and I think a more powerful stereo, but I don't know that it sounds any better or worse. I'm gonna look, I took a picture of my settings in the X and I'm gonna adjust the settings in here. As I'm driving now, it sounds fantastic. I wonder if I tweak the settings on here to match what I had in the X, if this is gonna sound as good as the X. I still think the S would sound the best since it has the most speakers and the smallest cab. Of course, everyone says the Cybertruck sounds amazing, but I haven't driven that yet, of course, and nor have any plans to anytime soon. But the Model S or the new Model 3 is also getting really good reviews for its stereo. So those could be better, but for now, I mean, I'm pretty impressed with the Model Y stereo. I've been driving the X for a week and I thought it was a lot better than this one, but I don't know that it's really that noticeable, if anything. First thing to point out, if you're looking to buy a car, I would highly recommend renting the same model you're looking at on Turo if possible. And don't get me wrong, it's not cheap. My rental on Turo cost a lot of money. I initially rented it for 3 days, but we liked it so much we extended it. Then we extended it again, and then I had to pay for the charging that I used while I had it. So we had it for 1 week, and that cost us $1,574.02.
Oh my God.
This was a Model X Plaid, so already a very expensive car. If you rented a less expensive car, most likely the rental price will be cheaper. Also, I think I would have saved money if I just rented it for a full week instead of a few days and extending it and then extending it again. You probably get a better price if you do a full week rental right off the top. I have no affiliation with Turo. They don't have any kind of affiliate program that I know about, that I don't get any kind of referrals or kickbacks if you use it or whatever. I'm just pointing out, I did have a great experience with the guy I rented from. So if you want your ass to sit where my ass sat, I'll leave a link to the Model X that I rented in the description of this video. While Turo was expensive, the experience itself was great, and if I ever do end up buying a Model X, this rental will have paid for itself. Let me explain. So several months ago, we did a Tesla demo drive of a Model X, and my wife thought she loved the yoke. And after having the Model X with the yoke for a week of daily driving, we both fucking hated it. I mean, I've watched tons of videos where people say that you get used to it and whatnot. I just can't imagine I would get used to the yoke. It does look cool, and it helps the visibility, right? But 100%, if I was buying my own Model X, I'd have a round steering wheel. And of course, Tesla changes their prices all the time, but assuming prices stay consistent, it currently costs $1,000 to upgrade to a yoke. So right there, knowing now I don't like the yoke, that's gonna save me $1,000 off a future purchase, right? All because I rented on Turo, which I wouldn't have known, based on our 30-minute test drive. She thought she loved the yoke, but once you had it for a little bit, we were not fans of it. Also, the Model X Plaid that we rented had the 20-inch wheels, and I thought they looked great. I see no reason to get the $5,500 upgrade to the 22-inch wheels. I mean, they do look good, of course, but personally, I really like the looks of the 20-inch wheels, certainly after seeing them in person. And obviously with a smaller wheel, you can have a better ride, less expensive tires to replace and whatnot. But typically when I buy things, my brain is dumb, so I buy the most expensive thing I can buy normally. I'm always, it costs more, it must be better, but I saw the 20 inches and I like them. So right there, between the 20s and the yoke, Turo's basically paid for itself. That's not really how math works, but I think you get the point. I did not love the 6-seat arrangement. The Plaid only comes in 6 seats, and I think that's a shame. I think I would definitely prefer the 5-seat option, which takes me to my next point. We probably don't need the Plaid. The Plaid is awesome. It's also about $15,000 more expensive. It also doesn't seem like it should be legal. It's fucking insane how something that big can move that fast. Don't get me wrong, it's absolutely awesome, but is it really worth a $15,000 price bump? If you get the non-Plaid model, it comes in a 5-seat setup, looks almost exactly the same as the Model X Plaid, and does 0 to 60 in 3.8 seconds, which is pretty fast. 2 more quick updates. I mentioned in this video, but I love the look of the Tesla floor mats. I got to see them in the Model X we ran on Turo, and now I have them in the Model Y, and I love them. And to be fair, I actually already ordered mine by the time we ran the Model X Plaid. But if I was still on the fence and I saw the official ones in the Model X Plaid, I definitely would have kept. I like the looks of them. I think they're cool. And the black seats in the Model X Plaid looked great. Almost every car I've ever had, I always wanted black on black. Black interior has always been a must-have for me. Like, that's a non-negotiable for the most part. I don't think I've purchased a vehicle since I've been purchasing vehicles that didn't have a black interior. And even in the same video, I was complaining about the headliner not being black. Right? I wanted it all black. But for some reason, when I bought my Model Y Performance, I love the look of the midnight silver metallic gray color with the white interior, and that's what I got. And I love it. It looks fucking great. White on the Tesla is kind of a calling card, right, of their interior, right? It's a very unique white. It's the whitest white I think I've ever seen on a car. And I just assumed if I was ever getting another Tesla, it would have a white interior. However, the black interior on this Model X Plaid looked damn good. At this point, if I got a Model S or a Model X for myself, I think I'd pick up the black interior. All right, as a surprise, shocker really, let's interview my wife. What did you think of the Model X Plaid when you drove it?
I thought it was really cool, and I liked how fast it was.
And let's tell everyone the shocker, what happened a couple weeks after we ran the Model X Plaid. What did you buy?
Model Y Performance.
So you thought before that there's no way you would want a Model Y, and you wanted the Model X Plaid. After renting the Model X Plaid for a week on Turo, and then eventually buying a Model Y, you've had the Model Y Performance for almost a month?
About 5 weeks.
And what are your thoughts on the Model Y versus Model X now?
I love the Y, and I'm very happy with it.
What is it you thought you were going to miss from the X to the Y? And what about your other concern was the screen in front of the steering wheel?
I don't even think about it anymore.
That was a major sticking point when she thought she had to see her speed limit and all that. But now that she had Model Y, it's completely second nature.
It took about a week to get used to, and I don't even think about it anymore.
If we had unlimited funds tomorrow, would you go buy a Model X Plaid?
Absolutely. I would keep the Model Y Performance.
So we still love the Model X. It's an amazing car. Personally, I think I'd be fine getting a Model X that's not Plaid. She still thinks she would like the Plaid, right? You have a lead foot.
You never drive. I drive a lot every day.
So I agree. I would also want a Model X. I think they're pretty sweet. But since money is an object, we do not have unlimited funds. I got a lot of money, but not unlimited funds. Do you think it'd be worth it to pay twice as much as your current car payment for a Model X Plaid?
If funds were unlimited?
No, if the current day.
No, I'm so happy with my Model Y Performance. I love it. I love it more every day.
Yeah, I love my Model Y. I've had my Model Y Performance since December. It's currently April 19th, our dog's 5th birthday. And she loves her Model Y. I love my Model Y. Great cars. We'll probably end up getting a Model Y or a Model 3 for one of the children. I still haven't given up the thought that I might eventually get a Model S, and I'm sure she hasn't given up the thought that she might get a Model X, but the Model Y is pretty great.
I love it.
So there it is. If you're in the market for a vehicle, I highly recommend a Tesla. I love my Model Y Performance. My wife loves her Model Y Performance. My son and I made a video test driving the new Model 3, and we both loved it. And everyone that saw the Model X Plaid when we had it, it blew their minds. Everyone loved it. It's just an amazing car. I highly recommend doing one of the Tesla demo drives, and then once you get closer to actually consider buying it, maybe renting one on Turo. But just be warned, at least for me, as soon as I test drove one, I had to have it. All right, if you made this far, why don't you stick around, subscribe, check out. We'll have more videos. I'm gonna have more content on my Teslas. I might be picking up Tesla solar panels and Tesla power walls, who knows, but also make non-Tesla content. I'm not a dedicated Tesla YouTuber. I'm not even a full-time YouTuber. If you do just want to watch Tesla content, I'll have some Tesla videos, but my preferred Tesla YouTuber was Jeebs. He makes other videos on cars too, and the Everyday Chris is pretty good. Yeah, there's a lot of Tesla YouTubers. Jeebs is my favorite. That's who I go to for just about any Tesla video. And I'm pretty sure if you asked Jeebs, he'd tell you to subscribe to my channel. I know what you're saying. You're like, I don't want to subscribe. I only want to watch Tesla videos. And you make non-Tesla content. Well,
some people get really upset about that.
Those people should be executed.
All right, that's it. Thanks for checking me out. I hope you liked the video. Leave any comments. I'll follow up. Again, I don't have the Model X, so I can't answer too many questions, but I'll answer any questions you have about my experience.
I can't fuck this up.